If you were to go back in time to this day a year ago, the Ravens thought their salary cap situation would be much different than it actually is today. The NFL salary cap was around $198 million in 2020, and the expectation was that that number would grow to about $210 million in 2021. If that were the case, the Ravens would have around $40 to $50 million to spend this offseason. But obviously the last year has been unpredictable and different than anything that anyone expected. The salary cap now is going to be around $175-185 million this year. Now the salary cap is determined based on a revenue sharing model between teams and the NFL. And because revenues are down in this COVID year, the salary cap is also going to decline. Now look, this is not a unique issue to the Ravens. This is something that's affecting every team in the NFL. And the Ravens are actually in a little bit better position than a lot of teams. And GM Eric DeCosta talked about that yesterday.
We like the positioning we are in. I think there's about 14 or 15 teams this year that are actually over the salary cap. We see that as an opportunity for the club to really improve, but it's an unusual dynamic, and there is going to be, I think, some challenges for teams to get under the cap. We'd like to have more room than we have. $15 to $20 million is not a lot of money. But when we judge ourselves against our competitors, we feel that we have an opportunity to use that to our advantage.
So how is this going to affect the offseason? Well, I think it could show up in a variety of ways. First of all, it is certainly going to impact the free agent market in terms of what players are able to get out there on the open market. It also will affect what the Ravens can spend. Maybe they can't go out there and get a number one type receiver for $15 million a year. That may not be possible. Another area that this could show up in is players who are eligible for long-term contract extensions. Yesterday, DeCosta talked about trying to work out a deal with quarterback Lamar Jackson and maybe tight end Mark Andrews or offensive lineman Orlando Brown Jr. With the salary cap reduced this year, I'll be interested to see if players want to try to work out long-term deals at the first available opportunity, or if the players and the teams opt to wait until later, maybe next year or even the year after, once the salary cap increases once again. And then lastly, there could obviously be salary cap cuts. This is something that we see every year around the NFL. Last week, the Ravens released veteran Mark Ingram, and that freed up around $5 million reportedly in salary cap space. Could there be more players that get released either by the Ravens or other teams in the NFL? That's certainly possible, and that would be difficult to let some veteran players go. But the flip side of that is that the Ravens could also be in the market for other players that end up on the market that nobody ever expected. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but the one thing I know for sure is that the Ravens are in good hands with DeCosta and his team running the show. That's it for me on Final Drive. Thanks for watching. We'll see all of you again tomorrow.